Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I am your host, Sean Galbraith, joined by literally none of my deadbeat co-hosts tonight because it turns out Galen having a baby is like more than a 2-week time suck, apparently. I don't know anything about babies, but I thought, frankly, this nonsense would be done by now. Seems not. Now, Robbie moved this week, and I think he moved to the year 1992 because apparently he does not have internet yet at his new place. So God help us all. You are stuck with only me tonight here on episode 39, and we have a lot to go over tonight. We've got a great interview. We've got like 850 tournaments to recap eventually. But first, what have I been up to? Well, I was down in Michigan last weekend to play in the Kensington Open. And if you, dear listener, if you watched episode 37 all the way to the end, you caught some show nonsense where it turns out I have a friend who used to frolf like 20 years ago and then stopped basically just before he met me, depriving me of an opportunity to learn about the sport. And so I blame him a lot for this delay in my new addiction. But he is joining me here tonight on the show for a little mini interview because we played together in this tournament. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Paul Hitzelberger, PDGA 12192. Welcome to Miss Mando.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate the invite here, and yeah, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, buddy. So this was your first tournament in nearly 20 years. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, 2006.
I can only presume that basically nothing has changed in the sport since you last played.
You know, there's a lot of similarities, but there's just as many differences. You know.
So,
as you pointed out last week. Or 2 weeks
ago. So we mentioned the whole 2-tiered disc golf bag, i.e. a
crazy
standard disc golf bag, and flight numbers are a thing.
Yeah. Go figure.
So how has the learning experience been coming back into the sport? Painful? Okay.
Just I'm on my body. It's been painful, but mentally it's been fantastic. Bringing back a lot of really, really good memories of the sport and why I enjoyed it so much back then. And, and there are a lot of new things to learn. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about all the new coverage that's online that has been there apparently for the last, 10 years. But it's really nice. You showed me so many of the European championships that was going on. It was really nice to see them done professionally. It felt like I was watching, a real refined approach to the sport. There's just a lot of levels of improvement that have been pretty impressive to experience and see. And there's more I know, but I feel like, yeah.
It's nice to not have to order a VHS tape from some guy who happened to record the contest on a camcorder and dub some copies.
Yeah, we didn't have those options even that back in the day. So there's nothing that was recorded, not any of our tournaments that we had in Florida, or let alone the ones I played in Michigan.
So you were fairly kind of a moderate, medium-sized big deal in the Florida tournament scene. When was that? Like late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, late 90s. So I was in Florida, I think, 95, and I moved back to Michigan in 2000. So I would say late 90s is probably the last 3 years of the 90s in Florida. Managed to get to playing a pro or open in tournaments, and then and hosting tournaments and becoming a tournament director, certified official, all that stuff. Fort Lauderdale Disc Golf Club president, So it's sort of like that was the pinnacle, and Kenny was running around the whole country just destroying everybody, and we were lucky to have him in Florida. And he already had friends and roots in Fort Lauderdale, so he loved coming down to our tournaments, our bigger ones that we had, and playing. So,
And by Kenny, you mean 12-time world champion Ken Climo.
Yeah, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, this guy.
This guy, yeah, the guy whose ink is on that disc of yours right now.
Yeah, 1995.
You played against him a few times, if I recall. If I was creeping your PDGA contest history there, and I think I saw his name and your name in the same tournaments a few times.
Yeah, I managed to tie for second with a few other players, and he whooped everybody's ass. But I was, the final card to be thrown with him for 18 holes was I remember most of it. I definitely remember teeing off on the first hole and just being like, "Holy shit, this is crazy." I really do remember that moment of just like, wow. And I played well, but that guy was just such a monster back then, and for so long that. But it was just fun to watch, let alone try to
trying to actually beat the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's out driving everybody by 100 feet easy. Back then, they didn't have quite have the same plastic back then.
So now you're back. The addiction is, I would say, fully set in again.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. I got an email today from Discraft. Apparently, I'll be getting the package here tomorrow for a Chainstar light. It arrived a bit faster than I thought, but I'll have a basket here to start practicing my putting game again, and maybe take it to some family events. You never know. But
so I think you your first round playing in 20 years was what, like 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And so now you've got some new discs.
Yeah,
I believe we went shopping, of course. You've got multiple times. Yep. I mean, I was there for like 3 days, so we're definitely going multiple times disc shopping.
And the ones that you brought for me from your collection, which was
got to bring a care package.
Really do appreciate this.
Yep. Of course. You now have a cart. You got the Zuka.
Yep.
And you have a basket en route.
Correct. Yeah.
No notes. Absolutely perfect.
I was thinking the only thing I'm missing right now, and I don't need, but is one of those 2-tier bags that I saw in the future.
Standard disc golf bag.
Standard 2-tier.
I mean, listen, you need. I think what you need, and our listeners will know what I'm talking about. You need a pound Octahol bag. It's the only one that's going to appropriately carry all of the discs that you have, which is going to be like 7 different stabilities of Rolos.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of which.
Yep. So you basically blew your arm out in the first round playing. Welcome back to the sport, and you're basically a forehand only thrower.
Right there. Right there. By the way, right there, I can feel the pain deep inside. It's not actually, it's actually not quite as bad as it was 2 days ago.
Now then you have to go out there right now and start throwing match distance.
Ripping.
Yeah, just start ripping it. Yeah, absolutely.
I did want to go out there today because I found there's a new course like about just inside Detroit from me, and it's like maybe 3 miles from here, and they had a league tonight. So I was this close to going, but I'm like, you know what? I'll wait because I'm playing this weekend.
And what are you playing this weekend?
Playing at Firefighters. Shit, what is the name of their tournament? Hold on.
Firefighter Open or something like that, probably.
Firefighters Classic.
Firefighters Classic. So you now got 2 tournaments in 2 weeks.
Yes. Well,
I
yeah.
strongly approve of this.
Yeah. And it kind of caught me off guard that this one was available and happening because I missed previous league. So I had that one league, right, where all the stuff happened, and then the following league weekend was 94 degrees. So I was like, I'm good.
Pass.
And then we had the tournament, so here we are. But
so now you're back. You're back on the scene. You're learning all the new stuff that has come out in the last 20 years about disc golf. What are you most looking forward to doing as part of the sport?
That's a good question.
Is it tournaments? Is it casual play? Is it trying to be more part of the community a little bit? Is it coming up to Toronto to join us at the Missed Mando Mayhem August 3rd at White Spruce Park?
Yes, that is definitely in my future. And I'm super looking forward to that. The competition side is great. It's always fun to try to win. But, I think in something like Missed Mayhem or Mando, that most fun wins type thing. So, and understanding all the obstacles and where to go and everything, it's going to be a blast. But yeah. So, wait, what was the rest of your question? No.
What are you looking forward to most about now being back in disc golf after such a long break?
Well, getting my game back is probably number one for me. Getting to at least a respectable game back to where I feel like I, can be kind of proud of of my scores and stuff. Everything. It's just I've had to reinvent my game entirely, pretty much. Which is fine. I'm not surprised at all, but so, and then, after that, I don't know. I still find the rules very interesting. I would like to figure out a way to, not figure out a way, but I would like to, probably if things keep progressing, to become a PDGA official again. And then be able to help out at tournaments, in some places. We'll see. I don't know what happens locally or what the need here is locally, but so we'll find out with all the guys at Firefighters Park. The same, they had 90 people in this tournament this weekend already. They had 160 at the league that I was at. Plus, it was over 160. So there's a lot of players, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I definitely know that I can learn a lot from what you guys do in Ontario, as far as taking care of the players and organizing and getting a little more hype into the registration and the whole excitement about making them, giving them a reason or wanting them to get in because it's a killer players package, or it's just something that's done right. Not that they're not doing that, but I think those are, from what I've seen, you guys have had some pretty amazing examples of taking care of players, making sure it's fun for everyone.
We certainly try. Well, thanks for jumping on the show and
thanks for
and talking to our listener, who may actually just be you at this point.
I am listening.
It's so great to have you on the show as a little surprise guest. My co-hosts, those slack ass bastards. They do not know that you're jumping on here, so that'll be a fun little thing for them.
Yeah. Remind them that they're lucky that I don't know more about the sport, or
you know basically nothing about the sport currently.
Hey now. Well, all right, yeah, you're right. They have no fear of being replaced. I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long this having a baby thing takes Galen to get back on the show. We may have to have you sub in a little here and there.
But you might need a reporter from the states down here.
Hey, maybe we do. The Miss Mando Detroit correspondent,
right? Well, yeah, it would make it an international tournament.
Well, I can't wait to see you up here for the Miss Mando Mayhem. We're going to hook you up with a partner. I don't know who it's going to be, but whoever it is going to have a blast playing with you on this absolutely stupid course that I'm designing. I was out there on a couple days ago and playing a little practice round because we got a tournament coming up there, the White Spruce Open this Sunday. And so I was looking at the lines. I'm like, is that stupid enough? It's maybe sufficiently stupid to make it into the Mayhem. So we shall see. But we have a lot to get to in this show. Thank you, Paul, for jumping in for the intro with me. But right now, I'm going to send it over to myself with our first feature interview of the episode, and I'll be right back on Miss Mando. Our next guest first joined the PDGA in 2020 and has made quite an impact in a short amount of time. She has only played 15 sanctioned tournaments, but has won 8 of them, including 2 big ones being Dreammaker 2024 and the Innova Rip. She also placed second at provincials in her first year of tournaments, which was only 2021, and took second at nationals in 2022, 7th at Am Worlds in 23. In August, she's heading back to Am Worlds in Michigan to take it on again. And she just got back from USWDGC where she won FA1. We are pleased to welcome to Miss Mando, the pride of Ayr, Ontario, Brianna Vandergriendt. Brianna, welcome to Miss Mando.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. Let's go back to the start of your disc golf journey, which was not that long ago. We mentioned in the intro that you've been a PDGA member only since 2020. Was that when you found the sport? Had you been playing for a while at that point, or like what got you into it in general?
I'm a COVID convert, I guess you can say. Prior to playing disc golf, I played really high level ultimate. So I played for like the local KW women's team PPF. We were always pretty much going to nationals, competing for the title, where we won a couple times. Also just got into masters, and unfortunately due to COVID I wasn't able to represent Team Canada, but I had made Team Canada for mixed masters. We were supposed to go to Australia, and then I just kind of fell into disc golf because while you can't social distance with ultimate, you could with disc golf. So it was a good excuse to get out there and throw some plastic.
I think it was mentioned on coverage, and watching you throw, you have an extremely smooth style. It very much looks like that you played ultimate. And that was going to be one of my questions if you were an ultimate player, because you have the form of somebody who looks like they know what they're doing with an actual Frisbee.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really
how was the transition moving?
Yeah.
How was the transition moving from ultimate to disc golf?
I feel like a lot of the hardest parts of disc golf with it, which is the touch and kind of like that distance control, really came very naturally to me, because that's what you do with an ultimate disc, right? It's all about touch and nose angle and really kind of like those understable discs to kind of get it to where you want to go. So I found that really the hardest part of disc golf was easy for me. if that makes sense, right? Like all of the touch shots, get it close to the basket, and then don't even worry about putting. But then, yeah, the transition, it kind of came a little bit differently. And I'm like, oh, okay, you have to throw it a little bit harder. You have to have snap. Like the nose angle does matter instead of throwing everything on hyzer, which is essentially how I started. And I'm like, aim over here and it'll eventually fade. Yeah. So then I started getting to know discs and things like that. My husband really helped, and he's like, here, try this, throw it like this, and kind of helped me with my form. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I have a lot to learn and could get a lot better. I just need to put in some more work and effort there.
Are there aspects of your game that you're currently like, I've got this dialed, and then there's other aspects that maybe you're working on?
Yeah. So ironically enough, for US women's, my putting felt fantastic. I love those baskets. They're like the Mach X baskets, and for some reason, I putt really, really well on them. It has one chain that I love to look at when I'm releasing the disc, and for some reason, it just goes in. So I felt really, really dialed on that during that tournament. Other than that, I really like my forehand approaches. My forehand felt really good. For the most part. And then, yeah, I think just the touch and knowing the discs and what they do. I feel like I'm pretty confident hitting a line in the woods, which also really helped me in the tournament too.
Yeah, it was, I was only able to catch the final round, and that was a pretty heavily wooded course. So let's jump into USWDGC. So you've played a grand total of one event this season. And that is USWDGC, which you won. So
Yep.
Pretty good success rate, I would say, so far for 2025. And you're currently only signed up right now for one more event, which is AmWorlds. Not playing a lot of tournaments, but hitting the big shows. Is that by design? Do you like forget those C tiers? Who needs those? I just wanna be in the big show.
So part of it is kind of by design, but part of it is due to circumstance. Before we were kind of chatting too. I'm a mom of just over a 3-year-old, so I keep myself quite busy. Part of that is I'm lucky if I get out once a week to play. So we do have a practice basket in the backyard. So I try and get out there a couple times, do some field work in the park behind my house. I think I did 3 sessions before US Women's, so felt really ready. Throw your bag a couple times. But yeah, I mean, when you have a certain amount of vacation time and things like that, you kind of go to the bigger tournaments. And this year, it happened that U.S. Women's was close enough that I could fly, figure it out, and make it work over the weekend. And my husband Andrew, he basically, I don't want to say forced me to, but he's like, you need to get out of the house, go do it, sign up. I think these courses are going to suit your game, and go enjoy it. He took care of the kid, and yeah, so it worked out really well.
So this was your first time at a USWDGC. Before we get to all the disc golf stuff, how did you enjoy the event? Like just being there, the carnival elements of it, the seeing the pros, the whole thing. How did you like all that stuff?
It's amazing to see like just the disc golf community and the support for women's disc golf in general. Especially with, the Grand River Disc Golf Club. I am the president. We're really trying to promote women and getting more women involved in the sport. So seeing such a grand event like that is fantastic. Unfortunately, because my flight was delayed, I kind of showed up to the dinner a little bit late, but you walk in and you see some of the pros and you kind of start fangirling a bit, if you will. You're like, oh my gosh, like, oh, Paige is over there, and oh, there's Cat Merch. And, it's just kind of interesting when you see them and you're like, oh, I watch you all the time on coverage, and now you're physically here and you're amazing. So it was really cool to see that. Also, all the pros are extremely approachable. They're just people, and they're here to chat with you, tell you what throws they like with this disc. So yeah, the atmosphere was amazing. They had events scheduled every single night pretty much. So it was great community. I think there was impromptu, karaoke one night at the Lighthouse Inn. So yeah, there was a lot of great events. The Fly Mart, unfortunately, because FA1 played at the same time as FPO for the most part, and we were at different courses. I wasn't able to follow along and watch too much, but yeah, it was just honestly, I think I was there one day at the Fly Mart, and there was one of the I don't know how old she was, but she was just standing there holding a disc and working on her form. And I'm like, you probably just played 3 hours of disc golf today and you're still working on your form. So it was amazing to see, you know, the youth coming together and all of the support, like the parents out there supporting these young girls to become female disc golfers or like women's disc golfers moving forward. So it was just great to see all the love and support and community for sure.
That's the truly one thing I really love about going to these big events. The community, it really is there. It really is great. And the pros, with very few exceptions in my experience, are lovely people who are happy to chat with you, grab a selfie, sign a disc, have a little conversation with you. It's hard not to fangirl a little bit. It's like, yes, there's that person, and oh my God, there's that person. It is super cool. I can't recommend enough going to like a pro tour event or a major or something where you can actually see all the pros in person, especially if unfortunately you didn't really get to see them play, but watching them play, it's just like it's watching a different species of human play a thing, because it's so cool.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Now onto the Frolf. You won USWDGC by 4 strokes, I believe.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Going into that final round, you were 1 stroke back of Virginia Polkinghorne. What was in your head going in 1 stroke back? Did you have a strategy for playing Rolling Ridge? Like this is a pretty severely heavily wooded course, a little bit of poke and hope on some of those holes.
Yes.
What was the game plan going in?
So really my game plan going into the entire weekend, you maybe heard it on coverage. I played all 3 courses completely blind. So I didn't even really do anything to prepare. So everyone else had their notes and everything. And my goal for the weekend was, you know what, I don't have to adult, which was kind of nice. I'm not a mom right now. I'm not working. This is all I can do. This is all I have to focus on. And the top priority was having fun. I played with a lot of the women, previously, so it's fun to kind of reconnect and build those connections and have fun with them. So going into the final round 1 back, I was like, hey, I'm just here for a good time. If I end up coming home with the trophy or winning or just being in the mix is pretty cool. But yeah, like the nice thing about round 2 was I'd seen the course before and I've played it. Walking into Rolling Ridge, because it is heavily wooded, you're going to get some bad tree kicks, and bogeys are okay. Pars are good. Bogeys are okay. If you have a putt for birdie, awesome. But I'm also fine taking my par. So mentally just kind of coming into that, speaking to some of the other, women that were playing, there were some complaints about, the length of the holes, and, it's a 340-foot par 3. And I'm like, but it's a 340-foot par 3 for everybody. So par is kind of irrelevant at this point, really. So if you just kind of put that out of your head, I'm trying to think, there weren't too many misses off the tee on my last round, but if there was, I'm like, okay, from where I am, what's the best score I can get here? Where can I put myself in the best position to be the most competitive and get the lowest score, essentially.
And you did have you had those sick back-to-back birdies on that last round, and I think was it 17 where you went up the left side?
Yes, the forehand.
Forehand, yep. That amazing shot that nobody else took. It's you for playing it blind. Maybe that's not a bad strategy. Maybe it forces you to be a little more conservative, not take chances that you don't know are there, and play for par, and you'll go far.
Yeah. Specifically with hole 17, I walked up to the tee and one of the girls was like, okay, it's kind of like a high backhand that you just kind of throw out. And I'm like, I don't have that shot that just kind of floats and fades that's that distance. And I looked to the right and I said, there are so many trees that I can get caught up 50 feet off the tee. And then it's a terrible hole for me. And I kind of looked to the left and I'm going, I think there's a forehand line here, and why not take the guaranteed 200 feet off the tee, then figure out the rest, the 150 feet from there, versus potentially getting caught up. So for me, the lower risk was the forehand. In I guess the first round at Rolling Ridge, so round 3, I threw a forehand and I just clipped like the last tree I had to beat. So the last day I switched my disc up to a slightly flippier version of that disc and ended up missing it and getting a fantastic drive. So, yeah.
And if I remember right, was it Virginia whose disc landed, I think it was like, there was one of the other players who landed like pretty close to you, but to get there, they had to take that higher risk hyzer backhand line to get there.
I think Virginia got caught up on hole 17. So it might have been Kayla. I think it was probably
Kayla.
Yeah, it was probably Kayla.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it was the right strategy. Play the gap that's there.
Look ahead of you. Don't overthink it. I'm much more confident in that forehand than I am with that sweeping backhand. It's really interesting. I was talking to Andrew and some of my friends and just going, a lot of the women don't really throw a lot of forehands. It's always the backhand turnover. And I'm like, I will take a forehand any day over the backhand turnover. So again, it's very that ultimate.
I was just going to say very much spoken like a true ultimate player. How did you find that the courses in general suited your games? How did you find like the different courses and relative to your game?
So the first 2 that were at Silver Creek Park, so that we played, it was the Super Silver was for the FPO players. So I was a little bit bummed we didn't get to play the exact same layouts as FPO, because you always want to kind of compare yourself and be like, whoa, how did they throw that? But they split up the Silver Creek into 2 courses. There was Creekside and Lakeside. And so Creekside was a bit more poke and hope. There were some more wooded holes that you kind of had to work through. But both of them were kind of that shorter distance, fairly easy, kind of right in front of you. So even though I was playing blind, I could still, there's the basket. Now let's pick a line to get there. So it really was a fun birdie fest. I think I led the field in birdies on day 1 with 7, but took an unfortunate triple. So that kind of, that was a little bit of a salty taste from round 1, but just kind of forget about it, move forward. But yeah, the first 2 courses I did really, really like Silver Creek, just because it was a bit more park style, some challenging, some pushing distances. But for me, my drives, I'm probably maxing out just over 300 feet, to be completely honest. A lot of other women can bomb much further than that, but you didn't really need it at these courses, which kind of what we said, they did suit my game. And in the woods, I felt really confident hitting my line. So that was also a plus.
So as I mentioned, you were down by 1 going into the final round, and I think you had it all tied up by like hole 7 or so. Are you a score checker? Were you like, okay, we're going up, I need this, I need that, or are you just like, I'm on hole 17. Where am I? Oh, I'm winning.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny you say that. So I actually, the Canadian phone plan, you don't like data. I was like, I'm really cheap, so I didn't pay for the data plan. So I'm always like trying to connect to Wi-Fi whenever I can. So I actually took a paper scorecard every single round. So yeah, so I paper scorecarded it. Yeah. And then I'm always trying to find somebody. I was like, where do I hand this in? I want to make sure I don't get strokes for not handing this in. So yeah. And I'm also, even when I play casually with friends, I always kind of like mentally know kind of where I'm at with par and how everybody else is playing. So I felt really good, and like I didn't feel like I had any blow up holes, like apart from, I think it was at hole 2 where I threw out of bounds off the tee. And I was like, okay, I took a bogey, but that's fine because I ended up birdieing the next hole. So good bounce back. But I felt like the other players were struggling a bit more with lines and hitting trees and kind of getting a bit more frustrated. Whereas I'm like, okay, I'm trying to stay positive and just kind of keep playing my game, and whatever happens, happens. So yeah, I don't think I was really checking the scores. I knew it would have been close. And actually walking up to the putts on 18, I actually got congratulated, and I'm like, whoa, we're not in the basket yet.
Back up.
Yeah, I was like, I had a pretty good idea. It was close, and maybe missed my line a little bit on 18, and that whiff of a putt probably showed that I was like, oh, I'm almost there. Yeah, other than that, I mean, it would have been cool to kind of just nail that to finish off, but at the same time, pretty cool to come out with the win. Obviously, I knew at that point when someone had congratulated me, but other than that, I was just there to have a good time.
So you've now been on coverage a few times. Is this your first win on coverage?
Yes.
How do you? First of all, that is extra cool, and people should definitely go and watch the coverage, at very least the final round on Gatekeeper on YouTube. It's really great, good production, even if they don't say your name quite correct. How did you find playing in front of the cameras? Do you find that it's like changing your game? Are they like, you have like having to wait for them to get in position, or is like, oh, there's a camera on me? Is it like, or just
panic?
Like,
no.
Yeah. Or is it like,
yeah.
I'm throwing the disc and there's nobody here?
Yeah, so I do have a little bit of experience with that. My first Am Worlds a couple years ago, I think I was the highest rated Canadian player going into it. So I got this email a week before going, hi, will you be on coverage for the feature card? And I'm going, sure, why not? Who cares? Like, this is kind of cool. So I think the first few times I was on coverage, it was kind of like, I felt like I had to wait for the cameras, and then it kind of messed with you a little bit. But then I was on coverage again for Am Worlds the following year as well for the feature card, which was kind of neat. And it just kind of puts you in a bit more of a different mindset. But having said that, I think I probably take a little bit more time on my putts, because I was like, okay, it's only 15 feet. You shouldn't miss this. And you kind of have to turn that into the positive to make that. And then also locally, we've done some of like the some like winter women's fun leagues, and I was filmed around Ontario too, playing a couple rounds. So you do kind of forget they're there for the most part, and you just kind of, talking to some of the filmers, you kind of, share your course snacks with them, enjoy the banter, and it's just kind of like they're almost not quite a caddy, but they're just part of the card, and you just try not to think about the cameras, because if you worry too much, then I don't know, I think it just throws you off your game and you get out of that flow.
You're thinking about them, you're not thinking about your shot.
Exactly. Yep. Sometimes they're also, I was going to say the catch cam, sometimes also a very good aiming point though too. So I will say it's sometimes an advantage to have that person down there.
I never would have thought of that. That is, that makes total sense. Especially if you don't know the course, if you're playing them blind. Having someone down there as a marker is solid strategy.
Yeah. So fun fact on hole 9, I was getting ready to do my approach in round 2, and I was like, oh, this just feels weird. I could see the basket. I almost threw it to 18's basket instead of 9's basket, but then I was like, oh, there's the catch cam. I need to throw a backhand and not a forehand. So that helped me a little bit. The camera, otherwise, it would have been a bit of a disaster.
That is awesome. Definitely not something I would have considered. That's very cool. So you played the course with the giant lighthouse?
Yes.
How was the wind on the day that you played it? Because it was, I don't know if did you watch coverage of the FPO on that? Because it was
very windy. Yeah. So we, so that was part of the lakeside, because obviously it's right on Lake Michigan, the lighthouse. It's very exposed, very windy. So we played that on day 2. Luckily, we only had to putt on that basket once, I guess, if you want to say that. But that hole, I just kind of threw a backhand and I was like, okay, it's really, really windy. Let me just take my zone. I'll throw a nice, easy backhand low. And I was like, then we're good. I threw the backhand and then didn't the wind just take it? And I flash changed. I was like, oh, I almost threw in for the eagle. And now I'm 25 feet away. And unfortunately, just before we had played that hole, I ended up watching the card before me and saw someone 4-putt because they had laid up too close to the lighthouse and it's a little bit too high to drop in. Exactly. So I'm sitting there at like 25 feet going, what? I have a decision to make. And then this is what I kind of told my card. I was like, YOLO, it's a major. Whatever happens, happens. And ended up sinking the putt for birdie, which was fantastic.
What?
So
That's so sick.
yeah, so it felt really good considering I meant to just lay up and ended up going past the basket and then having a full-on headwind putt. But like I said, luckily my putters were working for me. I chose a bit more of a stable putter for that one and I ended up cashing it, which was great.
That is so much better than it could have how it could have turned out. Especially, I mean, extreme elevated basket with significant wind. Like watching coverage of FPO, like it was rough out there. And certainly, watching the wind at European last
punishing
weekend, punishing,
absolutely devastating. Yeah.
It's comically punishing layup golf. That is getting the birdie. That's absolutely fantastic. How did you like? So which of the two courses did you like better, or just in general, what style of course do you prefer? Do you like deep woods? Do you like more open park style? What's the breeze flavor?
I would say not like a traditional long golf course. I don't have like a super long arm. So I do kind of prefer the park style where you can kind of see it. It's reachable. Maybe you have to throw like a couple different angles to get there. But I would say that's kind of like my preferred one. And then secondary would be more of the wooded, hit your line. So I think I did prefer Silver Creek over Roland Ridge. Obviously I got way more birdies and shot much better. Roland Ridge was a challenge. And as you mentioned previously, there were a few poke and hope holes. But having said that, they had us for the majority of it. They had us playing from short tees to long baskets. So to me, that's probably not how the course was initially designed. But all props to the staff. As soon as we finished, they had a suggestion book saying, how can we make this better? What kind of tees would you like to see? So I think mixing it up and playing some of the longer tees that the FPO players, even though it would have been, I don't know, like 50 feet further, I think the shot shape might have been a little bit more friendly, I would say, versus just kind of a shorter one. But overall, I can't complain too much. I was successful and it worked out for me. But I would say those two are kind of my style versus like the big open
bombers.
Yeah.
Golf course stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Looking ahead this year, as I mentioned in the intro, you're currently only signed up for one extra tournament. Am Worlds in, I think it's Missouri this year.
Yep.
Do you know much about those courses and what to expect, or are you just gonna like, hey, playing it blind seems to work for me. I'm just gonna roll in like the morning of the first round and just like, I'll figure it out as we go.
I'm sure I'll try and watch some coverage to see that. So for Roland Ridge, what I actually tried to do, like the morning before I played, even though I say I played blind, I tried to watch the FPO coverage and then like pause to see where the short tee pad was and try and see what the line was looking at the caddy books that way. But as great as caddy books are, they're not actually going to show you how big is the tree that's right there and how many are there actually. It's definitely different when you step up. So I'm sure I'll watch some coverage, look at the caddy books, kind of see how I can break down the holes, but probably a similar style to just go out, have fun, see what happens. And, you get to play a course more than once and try and make those adjustments to get a better score.
How many rounds is Am Worlds?
So typically with the majors, I think they're 4 or 5. So Am Worlds, I think it's the Tuesday to the Saturday. So yeah, I think that would be five rounds, but there's a cut after the 4th round. So you have to make the cut to play on the Saturday.
That's very cool. Have you played in Missouri before?
Never. Nope. So it'll be interesting. I've talked to a few of my, FA1, I'm going to say colleagues, but friends that I played with, and they're from Missouri, and they're like, get ready. It's hot. It's sticky. That was another condition that kind of came into play a lot. Just the humidity when
it was rough.
When you're playing, it was really hot. I'm sitting there going, I don't ever use a chalk bag. And I, whenever I wasn't holding a disc, I was holding a chalk bag on the last round because just otherwise it's going to go. You don't know where the disc is going to go. So yeah, I heard Missouri is going to be pretty hot. But yeah, hopefully just as much fun.
Is that in August?
Yes. So probably peak heat.
Yeah. Midwest August. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be hot. It's just is what it is. At USWDGC, you guys had some pretty bad weather in general, I think, on a couple days, didn't you? Did you have that bad rainstorm?
Yes,
that blew in?
We did. And I think in Ontario, we felt the heat wave right after that as well. Just talking to everybody back home. But it really didn't affect play too much. All props to the organizers and volunteers and event staff. When we were playing round 1, we had made it through about 4 holes. And then in the background, we could hear the thunder kind of rumbling. So we're like, okay, we think this might be coming. So
play quicker.
Yep. So we had just gone through, I think, 6 holes. And then we were about to tee off, and we were just waiting for the other group ahead of us to putt out. And then the horn went. So the horn went in lots of time. We were able to, walk to, they have I don't want to say clubhouse, but they had like a community center building. So everyone went to the building, and we were in there for maybe 2 minutes, and then pretty much the skies opened up, and it was just an absolute downpour. Play got delayed, but I think they said no one was left on the course, so no players got soaked, anything like that. It was fantastic and
well timed.
It was. I know. I don't know how they did it, but yeah. And then they let us out of the building after it was deemed clear with the lightning and everything else, and we got out there, and the drainage was fantastic, and we got out and finished the round. That's also when I took my triple bogey after coming off 2 birdies, which kind of sucked. But what do you do, right? Just got to get back warmed up.
I mean, it is what it is. What are you going to do? You're all hot. You're running hot, and then you get cooled down, and then you got to come back out and pick it up. It's not easy to do.
No, definitely not.
I imagine like Virginia is probably one of your main competitors in FA1 at this level.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed she's 16, and she's won 100 events or something ridiculous like that. Yeah,
both her and Kayla. So that I'll say the 2 juniors on the final round coverage. I was chatting to them, and they still have 2 years left of junior worlds. So I love their approach and everything. I think they're both sponsored, they have disc sponsors, everything else. But everyone's like, oh, when are you going pro? And they're like, I'm just a kid. So I love that mentality, right? Like,
good.
They're talking about I just got my driver's license. I can now finally drive myself to tournaments versus asking my parents to drive me. And I was like, I love that mentality of not going pro too early, I guess. Obviously I think that's where they belong moving forward. But might as well be an am as long as you can, play the juniors and really prepare yourself and set yourself up for success, which I think they're doing an amazing job with that. So yeah, there's some good competition and fun people to play with.
Speaking of turning pro, you're dominating FA1. So the obvious questions, is you're not 16 and having to worry about the junior and all that stuff. I'm
True,
assuming,
yeah.
just safe guess. I'm going to say. Have you given any thought to going pro yourself?
I haven't given it too much thought. Honestly, I'm just having fun. The nice thing with, with being an AM is you get the invite to AM Worlds and you get to have that kind of like big level experience. I think for next year, it's just Bond Lake in, like it's pretty close. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why would I not try and qualify there? So which probably means I need to get one more sanctioned round in or one tournament that I'll have to pick up, maybe a CT or somewhere to play to qualify for next year. But yeah, like at this point, I'm having fun being an amateur, playing with other AMs, having a good time. Yeah, so we'll see kind of what happens. But for now, I'm happy being an FA1 until I get kicked out, I guess.
Being able to play AM Worlds, the Buffalo AM Worlds, I think that would be that's a very good reason to stay AM for sure. Have you played? I assume you've played those courses before.
Yeah, the long weekend we actually just made the trip over to Bond Lake. So
what a great course!
It's beautiful. I know there's so many amazing courses that are kind of within that few hour drive from, I'll say the GTA area, just to go and play because, I don't know, I feel like the state sometimes, a lot of their state courses and state parks have a lot of fantastic mature trees that, in the heavily populated Ontario, we don't necessarily have those here. So it's good to kind of challenge your game and play different courses and see kind of what else is out there.
Yeah, Bond Lake and Royalton Ravine and I think Emery, those are all on the AM Worlds courses for Buffalo next year. All fantastic courses. All really, really, really great. I couldn't help but noticing you are not signed up for nationals this year, at least at this point, and I think it's probably sold out, so you'd be waitlisted. It's at Haute Goat, partially, where you took it down at the Rip last year. Are you just like one and done? I only win at a course once, or why are we not going to see you shredding it at nationals this year?
I think part of it is timing and what we've got going on. To be honest, finding childcare for that long of time, it is a lot to put on some amazing grandparents and folks we have looking after our kid. So part of it is that, and just kind of picking and choosing. Like I'll go play a major, and that's kind of our childcare weekend versus doing that. But try and take a look and see if we can maybe swing it. But it is kind of tough getting that time and the childcare arranged to sort that out because. My husband also plays and we have to kind of share that and who gets to go.
Yeah. Juggling those schedules, it's tough and they are big commitments for sure. It's also keeping you busy is being the president of the Grand River Disc Golf Club.
Yeah.
How's that going? And what initiatives or events are you working on for the rest of this year?
Yeah, it's going really, really well. Our club has over just around 140 members right now. So for
solid
for Kitchener-Waterloo, I think that's fantastic.
Really good.
Yeah, we have our regular league going on. So we're in the middle of our summer league at Columbia Lake. We're about halfway through. We have over 60 members competing in that. So that's fantastic. We also have our Foxwood League going on. So obviously where the big Foxwood Open tournament is, we also have a paid league every week there. So we have lots of volunteers helping run that. Going really well. It's over halfway through. Obviously, it seems silly because we're in July. We're halfway through the summer, but we're looking ahead even to after summer. We have our Rudy League coming up. It's on a private course, so our members get to play for that. Our women's league is kind of wrapped up, but we're looking at doing some field trips. That's in the works. So hopefully getting together with some other local clubs to have women traveling and playing new courses and just kind of having that camaraderie. And then, as we mentioned for events, we're already planning our club champs. So we have big plans for our members. We also, on July 19th, the Little Heisers Tour is stopping at Forefathers. So that's locally in Cambridge, which is going to be fantastic. I mean, a free junior PDGA event. Might as well get them signed up and don't get outnumbered and get kicked off the lead card like I did to a 16-year-old. But get your PDGA number early and go to the Little Heisers tournament. That'll be fantastic. So we're throwing our support and working there. We also are looking at a club event August 2nd where we have 5 9-hole courses in our region. So we're trying to encourage everyone to get in those 45 holes and then end up at Forefathers so we can have some drinks and food and have some fun. But it also includes the new course in Elmira that was just put up with Tin Lid at Bolander Park. So we've got that going on. We have a fundraiser for Jose Bautista Blue Jay merch right now for our club. So check it out on Facebook, everything else. We've also just got some club order discs for some new events to get new players involved in the community. So we can kind of use them as giveaways and all of that for new folks joining the sport. So we've got that. But yeah, it's all on our website, grdga.ca, our Facebook, all of our social media on Instagram. And we also have a Discord as well. So there's lots to check out. We're busy. We got lots going on. And yeah, even though I'm the president, I'm not doing half of this stuff. It's all of the volunteers and the amazing people that are in the club that put in the effort and the work. And again, that's what makes the community so special and so amazing is those dedicated volunteers to help out.
It sounds like an amazing club doing some amazing things. Well done to everybody there involved and all the volunteers. You really, that's what makes the club. Love to hear it. What nights are your league nights?
So we're doing flex leagues right now. For the summer league. So it's just kind of like whenever people can play. We kind of started that in COVID and found that's what works. We kind of have like a 2-week flex. So Foxwood, they are set on Thursday nights at Foxwood. So even if you're not in the actual league or a member, you can still kind of come out and join for a fun round. Women's, we did Mondays and Tuesdays. That's kind of what works for most of our folks. And we did that. And then Rudy sometimes, so the end of summer, the fall league, we usually try and do like either a Saturday or a Sunday morning to try and encourage people getting together because you can't play at night anymore because the days are getting shorter.
It started again, hasn't it? Yes.
Probably at this point.
Damn you, time. And the eternal rotation of the earth. It's really inconvenient to our disc golfing. But before we let you go, want to hit you up with some stupid lightning round questions that we ask all of our first time guests. Quick answers. No, you cannot prepare for this lunacy. Sort of whatever comes first to your mind. First question, softball it. What is your favorite course?
Oh, that's not an easy one. I actually probably say right now is our private course for the GRDGA club. It's, I think it's probably what got me into my wooded game. So it's the Rudy one. There were tight lines to start. If you don't hit your line, you're looking for your disc. So it kind of teaches you to stay short and straight is better than a long bomb somewhere off the fairway.
Cool. Good answer. What is the hardest course you've played?
What's the one in Michigan? The D-Glow course.
Toboggan?
Yep. Toboggan. 1000% toboggan. Yep. The elevation, not the biggest fan of elevation. And I'm throwing things and I was going, how do pros throw it that far? I don't understand.
It's just up and down and up and down and up and down and up. Can we just get a level hole for once, please?
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. I think I was happy with a par I took on that when I played it, I think last summer. So yeah.
Yeah. Forget that. What is one sport to play or watch other than disc golf? What are you choosing? I think I have an idea.
Ooh. Do you think it's ultimate?
I would assume it's ultimate.
I mean, I think it's fantastic to watch. I've always grown up playing a lot of sports, so any pro level sport like WNBA, NBA, NHL, anything like that. I'm pretty much watching the major sports. Yep.
All the sports.
Yeah, exactly.
What is a song that you instantly turn up the volume to max and sing your heart out, or a go-to karaoke song if that's your proclivity?
Oh, some Nicki Minaj I might sing in karaoke, but some good old Venga Boys, not too bad either.
Nice.
My I was gonna say my range for songs will go from 0 to 100, and can't quite pinpoint my genre.
Love that. You're on a road trip. It's time for food. You see a sign in the distance. You're like, we got to stop there. What's that? What's the restaurant that you want to stop at?
Oh, I'm the person that's probably grumpy in the back seat saying we need to stop 10 minutes ago and I'm hangry already and I can't make the decision. But actually recently just discovered Culver's in the States. Have you had that before?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I've had that a few times.
Yes, so I actually really like that. The frozen custard, anything with ice cream too. Not even food, just the sugar.
Solid pick. What is a movie that never gets old no matter how many times you watch it?
Ooh, that's a good one. Speaking from probably high school, I'm going to say She's the Man.
Wow. Deep cut.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it. Yeah. I can probably recite every word, unfortunately.
Nice. Last question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Besides ability to have your child go to bed at the same time.
What I was gonna say. I'm like, if I could snap my fingers and have my kid go to sleep, that's probably what I choose. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know.
I'll let you have that one because I'm sure all parents be like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, or just to stop temper tantrums, to just listening, opening your ears and listening to me would be fantastic.
Unfortunately, superpowers don't actually exist.
No, yeah, and toddlers do. So
yes, yeah. So before we let you go, any shout outs that you'd like to give? Any final comments? Floor is yours. Anything I didn't ask you?
No, honestly, big shout out to my number one, my husband, for making me sign up for US Women's. So that was fantastic, and also taking care of our kid and just supporting me through disc golf and encouraging me to start playing the sport. Also, I kind of mentioned this already, but the Grand River Disc Golf Association, my fellow board members, we put in a lot of work behind the scenes, and then all of the volunteers at GRDGA. And all the volunteers at all of the different events. And thank you to you for inviting me on this podcast, but really appreciate all the local folks that put on the events to grow the sport and just kind of make it an amazing community.
You're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here on the show, Bree. Thank you very much for joining us and telling us all about USWDGC, the Grand River Disc Golf Club. We excited to see what comes next for you and the club. And that's it. And we will be right back on Miss Mando. Welcome back to Miss Mando. Thank you, Brianna, for joining us to tell us all about USWDGC. What a fantastic event she had, and we're so glad that she was able to jump on the show and talk to us about it. Now, moving on to some Ontario news. The PDGA elections are now open through July 31st, I believe. There are 2 global board of director slots open and the Ontario provincial coordinator. For Ontario, there are 2 candidates, Chris Ozolins and Adam Hussey. We've offered to include both of their candidates' videos here on the show, and I'm going to drop them in right here, right now.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Ozolins at the beautiful Bronte Creek Disc Golf Course, where my disc golf journey started 15 years ago. For my PGA candidate video, I'd love to take you on a journey and share a little bit more about myself, what I've accomplished over the last 8 years as the Ontario PDGA coordinator, and what we hope to accomplish over the next 2 years if you give me your vote this year. Okay, I'll start off with a little bit about myself. 40 years old, born in Mississauga, Ontario, and been playing this game for 15 years now. Ever since I threw my first disc, I was instantly in love. And ever since then, I've also been trying to spread the good word about our sport. Was a competitive person as far as sports growing up, hockey, baseball, soccer. But when I found this, and especially found competition in our sport, I fell in love. Joined on as part of the Ontario Disc Sports about 10 years ago. I'm now the acting president of that organization, as well as the Canadian Disc Golf Association in 2000. I'm on the executive board for that organization as well. Both focused on efforts to promote our game, to grow at both a grassroots level and a competitive level. And so naturally, acting as PGA coordinator over the last 8 years, I've been able to kind of make an impact and share my vision for the sport with the rest of Ontario. Luckily, there's tons of awesome TDs and players out there who also share that and have dedicated thousands of hours to helping build our sport. And for that, I am deeply appreciative. Couple accomplishments that I might want to point out over the last 8 years, especially as acting PDGA coordinator. We've seen the Ontario Tour, shout out to my t-shirt here, grow. From a couple events to almost 20 events per year, acting as qualifiers for the provincial championship, acting as point delegates for the Ontario Club Championships, where we've tried to include not just individuals, but clubs to compete against one another, develop camaraderie between club members, and a bit of healthy competition between clubs in Ontario. We've also spearheaded the Ontario Little Heisers initiative, which was initially a subsidy. It turned into an entire tour of subsidized play, PDGA C tiers for junior players. We pay for all of their entry fees to get more players in at a grassroots level and help grow our game from that. We've seen, I think the first year I put together the calendar, I think we may have had 28 events on it, growing to all the way to 85 and north of that in recent years, and I'm really excited about that. And it's been great to interface with all these TDs and all these players out there. But I think we've done a really good job. And when I say we, I don't just say I, because there are so many TDs and volunteers involved in this. But I think we've done a really good job of pressing the sport and moving it forward in Ontario specifically. We are leaders within Canada. I think information sharing is at an all-time high. Fundraiser initiatives are an all-time high. We've done a ton of work in Ontario as far as funding our Ontario tour, funding events. I've personally hosted just under 100 events in Ontario in my 15 years playing now. I've been a part of designing or installing 28 courses in Ontario now too. I'm really dedicated to this, if you can't tell by now. And I think the reason I'm asking for your vote for 26, 27 is because I'd like to continue that. We've built so much progress within the sport in Ontario as far as the Ontario Tour and especially TD training tools that the PDGA has put out. And I'd love to be part of helping kind of spread the word and continue to develop the sport, not just within kind of the circles we have already, but at a grassroots level. And I think with my experience and the things I'm connected to in Ontario, I think they all very much build towards somebody who cares deeply about our sport and someone who probably deserves your vote this year. And I hope I get it. And for that, your consideration, I thank you deeply and hope to see you in September 2025.
Hey everyone, Adam Hussey here, and I'm excited to announce that I'm running for PDGA Provincial Coordinator for Ontario. Disc golf has been a huge part of my life, and I'm ready to take that next step in growing the game, supporting players and tournament directors across our province. Beyond disc golf, I have a financial services background and co-founded Blendable.ca, a health benefits company focused on innovation and ease of use. This experience helped me understand what it takes to build and support and scale something that serves a community. I've been a PDGA member since 2017. I've had the privilege of helping grow disc golf in Ontario as being a founding board member of the Grand River Disc Golf Association, where I served as club president for 3 years. I've assisted in various roles in several events, including Ontario Provincials, Chicopee Throwdown, and Foxwood Open. I've also been an Innov ambassador for the past 3 years. Through these experiences, I've seen the passion, dedication, potential of our community, but I also see areas where we can grow, improve accessibility, and build more of an appreciative culture. At the heart of my passion of disc golf and life comes three key values: growth. Who doesn't get excited about seeing this game grow? Building is just my passion. Collaboration. This role isn't about one individual. It's about a community. Working alongside others to bring expertise and fresh perspectives is essential for driving progress. Finally, fundraising. Whether it's for clubs, tournaments, or new initiatives, I want to share my experience to support and strengthen Ontario disc golf, make it a little bit easier for TDs, and bring in more value to the players. As a PDGA provincial coordinator, my goals are clear. Clarify the roles between PDGA representative and ODSA, ensuring collaboration while keeping them distinctly separate. If you're a PDGA member, I want to support you and your club regardless of other affiliations. Expanding PDGA membership in Ontario starts with more events, big and small. To give players more chances to compete and connect, to make this happen, we need to create a supportive culture where tournament directors feel appreciated and empowered to organize. Bottom line, every event, whether it's for profit, fundraising, or for the love of the game, they contribute to a thriving disc golf scene. No single tournament format suits everyone, so the real goal is embracing variety and value and dedication behind each event. Lastly, I want to see a more dynamic provincial championships, one where all PDGA sanctioned events serve as qualifiers. I'd love to work with the folks at ODSA to make this happen. So if you want a new leader with fresh perspectives who has a proven track record of growing the sport, strengthening communities, and bringing more value to the membership, then I am your candidate and I'd love your support. Let's build something better together. See you on the course.
If you have any questions about their candidacies, I encourage you to reach out to them and ask them any questions that you have so that you can make a really good informed choice about who will represent Ontario to the PDGA for the next, year or two. I'm not sure how long the appointment is for. That's it for news. So moving on now to tournament registrations. And the big one that popped up this week was the Paris Memorial over the Labor Day weekend this year. It was instantly slammed with registrations. This is always a hotly anticipated event. And if you were not waiting for it to drop at 8 p.m., well, you were quickly dropped onto the wait list, which is currently, I think, approaching like 60 people. And yeah, sorry, a lot of you ain't going to be playing that event. But we do have some upcoming registrations for you to hit that reminder for. Eddyville Doubles Tournament at Eddyville SuperSpin down in Bourget is taking place on July 20th, and registration is opening today when this episode is dropping. Next, we got the Wedge Open down in Windsor. Registration for that opens July 15th for that October 4th event. That is always a good time. Next, we have the Lucky Lions Open. This is going down at Eastview Park in Guelph, October 4th and 5th. We got a 2-day event. Registration for that also opens on July 12th. Next, the 4th annual Niagara Falls Classic will return to the reopened, not quite reopened as of when we're recording this, but by then it will definitely be reopened. Fireman's Park in Niagara Falls. That's going down September 20th, and registration for that opens on July 12th. There's a lot going on July 12th. You got to make sure you got those get those refreshes going and multiple windows and hit all of them. Canadian Nationals, as we know, is coming up in mid-September, and July 13th, there are a bunch of the side events that are opening up for registration. Now, this is just for players and volunteers on July 13th. And general registration for the stuff I'm about to tell you opens up on August 17th. Now, on the 13th, you'll be able to sign up for a clinic with absolute legend Elaine King. That is happening on September 10th. Then on September 11th, there is a clinic with Philo Brathwaite. It was amazing last year. Really good clinic. Next, on September 12th, the Friday, or September 13th, the Saturday nights, there is the return of the Tracy Boards Krokhol tournament. Now, if you missed this last year, shame on you. It was super fun. We had the boys. We had Gannon, Burr, Babcock, the Robinsons playing Krokhol at Haute Goat. Super fun. It turns out, they're also really good at that. In addition to being really good at disc golf, who knew? And then lastly, the other event that you can sign up for right now is Glowy at Haute Goat. This is also taking place on Friday and Saturday nights. You can pick which one you want to play on registration. Super fun event. Definitely sign up for those. Either if you're a player, which a lot of you probably are, because it's a pretty stacked event, or if you're a volunteer, which we're going to need a bunch of volunteers. I'm going to be the volunteer coordinator for this event, so please reach out if you are able to give any time to the event, either when you're not playing or if you're not playing at all. If you're able to commit to a little more time, let me know. We're going to be doing a volunteer call up shortly. Next, the FR Tours Simcoe Cup is coming to Sandy Hollow in Barrie. This event is taking place on September 6th and 7th, and registration for this opens up July 15th. Sandy Hollow, great course. Really nice to see it being fully back in operation after that big ice storm that took it out of commission for like months and had a lot of tree work that needed to be done. Really big shout out to the local community, the city, and the arborist teams who were disc golf familiar to really bring that course back up to where it needed to be. And then lastly, of course, this is the tournament of the summer season, the Missed Mando Mayhem. It's going down August 3rd, as you probably already know, but look for the event on UDisc right now, and you can pre-register your team. Now, official registration will still be done on site, but pre-registration helps us plan a little bit. So if you can, it would be greatly appreciated. And scoring is going to be all done through UDisc anyway, so it would be great. You're going to need to do it at some point anyway, so you might as well just pre-register now. You don't have to pay now. Payment is still $20 per person or $40 per team, done on site the morning of. I'm also toying with bringing my world famous disc golf garage sale to the event. So anybody who wants to can set up a table, sell some plastic, and maybe buy some plastic. It's a great little community event and helps keep plastic flying just in some new hands. I've already, like I said in the intro, I've already started working on the design of the course. It should be sufficiently stupid to, hopefully, exceed everybody's expectation. We're doing a modified layout of the course. In addition to the Mandos, we're doing a 21-hole layout of the course. We're modifying hole 9 so that it's broken up into 2, because how are you going to put a bunch of Mandos in the middle of a giant field? That's just boring. So we're going to use the practice baskets and do a little looky-loo around some corners and some more trees. If you played the Jengalakwa layout last year, you know what I'm talking about. Should be super fun. So definitely you got to come out for that one. And we're raising money for the ODSA's Little Heisers Tour. It's a great cause. We want to make sure we get lots of kids into disc golf. And this is going to be a great way to do it. So come on out and play some stupid disc golf and support a great cause. Moving on to some Ontario tournament recaps. First, we're going to start with the Waterworks Open. Now, dear listener, normally Robbie does all the talking at this part. And he was playing in the Waterworks Open. So I might try and do some wizardry here so that it seems like he's still with us. Talking about this, because some of this whole thing was written by Robbie, so we're going to have to pretend that I'm Robbie reading this. We start our recaps heading to St. Thomas, Ontario for the 2025 Waterworks Open, which saw 64 players challenging the tough, heavily wooded Waterworks course. MPO was the only pro division at this event, and after round 1, it was Abe Neufeld, holding a one-stroke lead over Jeremy Hewitt, Cam Zanini, and Seth Beacon with a score that actually trailed the MA1 leader by 5 strokes, which we'll get to in a bit. In round 2, Abe was able to shoot a 10-16 rated -11, the only bogey-free round 2 in the division, and would go on to win by 4 strokes over Jeremy Hewitt, with Jamie Bogart and Cam Zanini tied for third. This was Abe's first win since September of 2023, and his 10-16 rated round was the second highest of his career. Absolutely well done there, Abe. Over in the top amateur divisions, Darlene Gibson takes down the solo win in FA1, and over in MA1, Corey Hunter had a scorching hot opening round, shooting a 10-25 rated -9, which again would have seen him in the lead by 5 strokes at MPO, but actually gave him a 4-stroke lead in MA1 over Brian Enns. In round 2, way back in the 4th card, it was yours truly, me, Robbie Holden, who went nuclear by my standards in a comeback attempt, shooting a 10-29 rated -12, the highest rated round of my career by a mile, which was 6 strokes better than the next best in MA1 and jumped 11 spots into second. That second best score was shot by Corey, though, who would coast to a 5-stroke victory, the second win of his career. Absolutely well done, Corey. Sean, let's send it over to you for any aces. Thanks, Robbie. Shout out to Frank Redekop in MA1 for nailing the ace on hole 17. For some reason, I don't have in the scorecard thingy the length of the hole, but let's just say it's, I don't know, let's say it's a 1,000-foot hole and he nailed the ace. So very well done, Frank. That was a sick ace you got, and shout out to you. Moving on next to the Spring Into It at SuperSpin. Next, we head to Bourget, Ontario, and the amazing Eddyville SuperSpin course for the 2025 Spring Into It at SuperSpin tournament. We saw 76 players in the field for the one-day C-tier event. In MPO, it was a tight battle after round 1 with Jacob Mainville holding a 1-stroke lead over Charles Blanchette, Gabriel Pilote, and Carter Yeomans. But most of the leaders struggled in round 2, opening the door for Will Trithart and Christopher Lay to jump up the leaderboard into second and third place. In the end, though, it was Carter who, despite a double bogey on the last hole, was able to take it down with a 1-stroke win, his second win of the season. MP40 was the only other pro division at the event, and Jacques Zengao took down the win by 7 strokes with a score that would have given him the win also in MPO by 3 strokes. Over in MA1, Mathieu Houle held a 4-stroke lead after round 1, but in round 2, it was Kyle McCutcheon who was able to shoot the hot round to come from behind and win by 3 strokes, his second win of the season. There were no aces, unfortunately, at this one, but still well done everybody who took down the SuperSpin there. We head next to the always amazing Bronte Creek Provincial Park for the 2025 Bronte and the Beast, which saw 78 players testing the toughest layout that Bronte has to offer. Basically, they take the longest layout and then make it even harder. Yay, fun. In FPO, round 1 saw a tie between Alicia Hums and Colleen McInnes, but in round 2, it was Alicia who was able to beat the field by 4 to take a 4-stroke lead into the final round over Colleen, with Kat Johnson and Jess Goulet tied for third. In the final round, though, Alicia would unfortunately jump on the struggle bus a little bit, taking no birdies and a plus 13 round that would see her drop to third. Well, Jess was able to shoot a solid plus 5 to jump into second. Colleen was able to shoot the hot round, though, at plus 2, and she would take down the win by 6 strokes for her 5th win of the season. Well done, Colleen. Over in MPO, the other Hums, Thomas, Started the tournament with a 10.06 rated -6 to take a one-stroke lead over Chris Zollins. But it was Oz who shot the hot round by 4 strokes in round 2 with a 10.23 rated -7 to take a 3-stroke lead over Thomas into the final round, with Spencer Young 7 back of the lead in third. Thomas started the round with back-to-back bogeys, unfortunately, and though he was able to bounce back with 3 birdies, a couple double bogeys in the end would kill the momentum and he would drop back into solo third. Meanwhile, Oz and Spencer were both at -2 through 9 holes, but while Oz would go +1 over the next 6 holes, Spencer would go -3 in the same stretch to cut the lead to 3, and then took back-to-back birdies on 16 and 17 to cut the lead to 1, with only the tough 18th hole to play. Fortunately for Oz, they would both take a par, and Oz took down the win, his second MPO win of the season. Spencer's amazing 10.33 rated -7 in the final round was good enough to give him solo second, with Thomas Hums rounding out the podium in third. Over in the top amateur divisions, Stephanie Hall and Taylor Quigley were neck and neck through the event, sitting in first and second after every round. Stephanie held a 3-stroke lead after the first 2 rounds, but Taylor battled back to take a 1-stroke lead before an unfortunate bogey on the final hole would send things into a playoff, where it was Stephanie who was able to secure the win on the second playoff hole for her 4th win in only 4 events this season. In MA1, Trent Michaud and Ryan McWaters were tied for first after round 1, but after a great 9.99 rated -4 in round 2, Trent had a 5-stroke lead going into the final round, where he was able to secure a 4-stroke win, his second MA win of 2025. We got one ace to shout out. Dylan Brown bagged the ace on the 312-foot hole 11. That is an absolutely sick ace. Very, very well done, Dylan. And lastly, for Ontario tournament recaps, we head up to Huntsville for the Canada Day Classic number 3, which saw 50 players out at the newly redesigned Limberlost Links course for the one-day C-tier event. In MPO, Calvin Rurda took a 3-stroke lead into round 2 after a 9.99 rated -1, and was able to extend his lead in the final round, taking it down by 5 strokes over Spencer Young, with Chris Brown rounding out the podium in third. This is Calvin's first win of the season after coming so close a few times this year, with 4 second-place finishes in 8 events this year. Over in FPO, of course, friend of the show, Colleen McInnes, held a 4-stroke lead after the first round and extended it to a 12-stroke win in round 2 for her 6th win of the season so far and 56th win of her career. In the top amateur divisions, Alyssa Saunders goes wire-to-wire for a 14-stroke win, where she averaged an amazing 31 points above her rating for the event. Well done, Alyssa. And in MA1, definite rising star, James Atkinson, goes wire-to-wire for an 11-stroke win with a 990 event rating, a whopping 57 points above his player rating. And if you know James, I don't know how he's not higher rated by now. This guy can put up some numbers and take them down. Absolutely fantastic player. I want to give a special shout out to Alistair Robertson for winning his first MA3 event. If you play tournaments, you have seen this great lefty kid out there crushing it in the junior divisions. But for this event, he stepped up to play with some of the bigger boys in MA and took it down by an amazing 5 strokes. Alistair is absolutely an up-and-coming young player, crushing it in the junior divisions, and he's put the MA3 division on notice that he's come to play, and y'all better be prepared. Shout out for an ace to Mike Jonkas, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Apologies to Mike, but congrats on draining an ace on hole 11, a nice little 112-foot shot. And also shout out to Limberlost Links and its redesign. I have heard nothing but good things from this. I was talking to a couple people who said this course has the potential to be one of the best courses in Ontario with this redesign. It is a very difficult, very challenging course. I heard that it is up there with Project 15 in terms of its quality. And that's as high praise as really you can get here in Ontario. So kudos to the course redesigners and kudos to the team that put that in. Really, really well done there. Heading over to our Pro Tour recaps, we have the next PDGA Pro Major of this season with the 2025 USWDGC being held in Wisconsin. This year's event saw a total of 332 women competing across 19 divisions, including a record-breaking field of 46 in FA1 and a stacked 78-player field in FPO, featuring all of the top players in the world. In FPO, it was Evelina Salonen who caught fire at the right time in the final round, birdieing 4 straight holes from 13 to 16 and would ride that to a one-stroke win over Cadence Burge and Haley King. This was Evelina's first win of the season, but it is her third major win since April of last year and the 4th major of her career, which ties her with Carrie Berliger for 8th most of all time. Let's give a shout out to the Canadians in the field. We had Sophia Dunica tied for 12th, Rebecca Dawn at 18, and Chantel Badinsky tied at 27th. Very well done all there. Picks recap. I had Silva. She came in 8th. Robbie had Kristen Latt at tied for 6th. And Galen, unfortunately, Christina Viola, the 8-11 rated player, unfortunately came in 76th place. Not a great showing for Galen there. Heading across the pond for the European Disc Golf Championships, not to be confused with the European Disc Golf Festival, which is a major that is coming up starting July 17th. This event was an A-tier featuring 131 of the best players from across Europe, and you had to be European to play in this event. An FPO, Evelina Salonen and Kristen Lett completely separated themselves from the field, going to a playoff, 18 strokes ahead of Henna Blomroos in 3rd place. In the end, it was Evelina who was able to take it down and nailed her 2nd straight win after a 2-hole playoff. An MPO, Nicholas Antala goes wire to wire for he barely squeaked out a win by 16 strokes over Timo Hartman in 2nd place and Kristen Kuokska finishing in 3rd. And if you watched the coverage, you knew it was absolute chaos golf with garbage weather and extreme wind. It was hilarious to watch, frankly. For our picks, Robbie had Silva Saarinen, who finished tied for 5th, and he nailed the pick with Niklas, who, as we said, took it down in 1st. I had Lauri Lettinen, who tied for 12th, but I got the pick for the FPO winner with Evelina. Galen's strategy of picking the lowest rated players in the division does not seem to be working out for him. His FPO pick of Larea Ruiz came in 37th, and Dejan Dobreda from Serbia came in 90th. It was really too bad there for Galen. Meanwhile, back in the USA, the last DGPT event before the tour officially goes fully to Europe until mid-August happened. That was the Discmania Challenge, formerly known as the Des Moines Challenge, taking place in Indianola, Iowa. And FPO, there was a wild finish that saw Cadence Burge come out with her first career DGPT win, taking it down by 3 strokes over Holland Handley, with Owen Scoggins rounding out the podium in 3rd. Shout out to friend of the show, Rebecca Dawn, who was in 2nd place after round 1 and finished in a tie for 4th. the best finish at a Pro Tour event in her career so far, and really, truly, this amazing young player's coming out party, I would say. Like she's gotten on coverage here and there, she's gotten noticed before, but this was really the exclamation point that she is here and she is be taken very seriously by her competitors, because she's coming to win, and she's absolutely going to take one down in no time, I'm sure. Over in MPO, Ezra Aderhold shoots a 1065 rated event and wins his first career Pro Tour event by 2 strokes over Adam Hammes and Evan Smith, who tied for second. Very well done by Mr. Too Tight Pants. It's great to see the fabric of his extremely tight clothes holding it together for him and really coming through clutch to not absolutely explode when he took down the win. Really cool to see Ezra take it down. Shout outs to Canadian Field, as we said. Rebecca Dawn tied for 4th. Sophia Dunica tied for 20th, and Chantel Badinsky coming in at 23rd. Our picks were a bit of a mess, to be honest. Gannon Burr, I picked. He came in tied for 13th. Kind of a crap showing for him, frankly. I also picked Missy Gannon, who didn't even play the event. Robbie picked Ricky Wysocki, who also didn't play the event, and Holland Handley, who came in a solid 2nd place. So well done, Robbie. Galen's Brock Parks and MPO came in tied for 97th place, and Lexi Dolly over in FPO unfortunately came in 41st. So Galen's not quite taking it down yet again. Let's go to a couple Pro Tour previews. Actually, just one Pro Tour preview, I should say. The PCS Open returns to the Pro Tour in 2025, hosted at the stunning Overus Disc Golf Park in Overus, Norway. Ranked number 9 in UDisc in their World Disc Golf Course rankings. Absolutely fantastic, stunning course. If you know it, the gates of Valhalla, like let's go. With most, if not all, of the top American players joining the Europeans overseas, the field is stacked for this event, including reigning champs from 2023, Paul Macbeth and Kristen Latt. We didn't bother doing picks this week. Everybody's doing the thing, and I'm tired, and we're not going to do picks. Next, we do have a second. We got Krokhol. Krokhol Open returns for a second year on the Pro Tour, hosted at the number 1 course in the world, the Krokhol Disc Golf Course near Oslo in Norway. Last year, Ricky Wysocki won by 5 strokes over Jakob Semerod, and Kristen Lott won by 6 strokes over Silva Saarinen. It'll be really interesting to see if we're gonna get big, big multi-point wins this year, given how strong the field is, and frankly, maybe a little bit weaker some of the top pros are. There's opportunities for that sort of B tier player to really strike and pop off. I'm excited to watch. The downside to the Europe is I'm not getting up at 3:30 in the morning to start watching FPO, which is really too bad because I absolutely love watching FPO. It's the better division to watch this year again. But we'll just have to get up at like 7 and catch them on hole 16 each day, and then jump into MPO for the mornings. And that's going to bring episode 39 of Miss Mando to a close. Good luck to all the players out there playing events in the next 2 weeks. Have fun at the White Spruce Open. Crush it at the Forest City Open. Have a blast at the Queer Disc Golf Summer Stomp and the Jurassic Park out at Ferguson Flying Forest. And that will bring episode 39 of Miss Mando to a close. Thank you so much for Brianna for coming on for a chat. We cannot wait to see which tournament you take down next. And thanks to my buddy Paul for jumping on with that fun little intro chat with me. But that's gonna wrap us up. I am tired of talking this much. Man, I so hope that at least one of my co-hosts is back next week, so I don't have to talk this much, and you don't, frankly, have to listen to me for this much. But until that happens, on behalf of my co-host Robbie Holden and Galen Naidu-Harris, I am Sean Galbraith. This has been episode 39 of Miss Mando, and we will see you out on the course.